salmon sushi isn't Japanese. It's Norwegian.
Huh? Sushi.
Okay, here's the story. Until about 1995, raw salmon was not consumed in Japan, and this was for one big reason. Pacific salmon has parasites.
Ugh.
So no salmon sushi, sashimi, no spicy salmon, nothing.
What? No way.
But obviously that all changed, thanks in part to this guy.
Yes, my name is Bjorn Erik Olsen.
Norway had a problem. They had a lot of salmon and too small a market. Looking east, they set their sights on Japan, a country that loves raw fish so much it's willing to pay 5 times the price for sushi grade. So, Norway formed a committee and hired Bjorn.
From 1986 to 1991, I worked for Project Japan.
Their job was to convince Japanese consumers that Atlantic salmon was safe to consume raw. And this was hard. Just take, for example, pork. If some guy from Norway came here and said, "Here, eat our pork meat raw, it's safe, it's really yummy," we'd be like, "Man, you're crazy."
It was basically a matter of perception, so we had to change the whole country in a way.
Bjorn and his team got to work. They made the first ever salmon rolls and served them to businessmen in Japan, which they didn't like for a long time.
It took actually 10 years to get a proper breakthrough in the market.
So there it is. Salmon sushi didn't exist before 1995. Bjorn, on behalf of the world, we thank you.
Chinese takeout. That convenient hunger buster that can turn up at your door within minutes in a perfectly packaged Chinese takeout box. Funny thing about that Chinese takeout box, it's actually American. Yep. Although the box's folds and style were inspired by Japanese origami, the packaging is a uniquely Western invention. In 1894, Chicago-based inventor Frederick Weeks Wilcox patented the paper pail, a single piece of paper folded into a leak-proof container fastened with a wire handle. Around this time, California experienced a huge influx of Chinese immigrants. Many came here in search of gold, bringing along their cuisine and culture. Fast forward to the post-war boom. Every family's moving to the idyllic suburbs, convenience is paramount, and Chinese takeout starts to take off. Then, in the 1970s, a graphic designer added a pagoda to the side of the box, along with a faux Asian "thank you" on top. From then on, the containers became a fixture of the Chinese takeout industry, even though they have never been used in China.
This is the aluminum ball challenge.
We are doing the aluminum foil ball challenge.
It swept the internet. It was pretty much people making smooth, shiny balls out of aluminum foil. It originated in Japan, but the story doesn't end there. It gets more meta, because this challenge actually came from another tradition in Japan. And in true Japanese fashion, that tradition is pretty spectacular. Dola Dango is a Japanese art form in which earth and water are molded to create a delicate, shiny sphere. That's a nice way of saying that these are very fancy mud balls. And when it comes to making Dola Dango in Japan, Kyokomiki is one of the best.
Dola Dango とは泥と団子を組み合わせた言葉です。14年間泥団子作りをしております。泥が光るというのにすごく興味を持ちました。泥団子は粘土質の土でなければ固まることができないので、粘土質の土があれば強く丸めて固めることができます。
The process, condensed, goes like this. Get a clay-based mud. Mix it with hay. This helps keep it from falling apart. Roll it into a sphere and leave it to dry in the sun.
泥 泥団子を作る時間は、乾かす時間がありますので、乾いてしまえばあとは、磨くだけでしたら1時間半あればできます。命を与えて生き生きして輝いていく瞬間は、まず磨いていく段階でピカッと第一で光り出した時ですね。
And the story doesn't end here, because where there is something beautiful, there is a competition to prove who is the best. And Kyoko is a judge. This is the annual Dola Dango tournament in Tokoname, Japan.
光る泥団子大会の審査委員長は、始まった1回目から行っております。今年で11年目になります。1回目の泥団子はボコボコ団子がとても多かったんですけども、2回目からは、団子の球体性はもうほぼ全員完璧になっておりますので、あとは色の付け方、磨き方、光り具合、それを重視しております。毎年大会に行くと、その年その年でいろいろな感動が生まれてきます。
This year, contestants from all over Japan have come to showcase their work. It looks like they've got a winner. So what does a winning Dola Dango look like? Very shiny.
2回目です。とても嬉しいです。
Colored, plain, large, small, the Dola Dango is not a one-look pony. It exemplifies so much of Japanese culture: patience, perfection, and the pursuit of beauty in everyday things. And they're also pretty cool to look at.
What do you call a group of cats?
Oh, let me check on that. It's called a clouder of cats.
If you have a question, any question, there's a number you can call.
917-275-6975.
And a librarian at the New York Public Library will try to answer it for you.
Hello, thanks for calling Ask NYPL.
We have 10 librarians on the team, and we answer any question that you may have over the telephone. In the office today, we have Matthew, Bernard, Serena, Diane, and me. Our department, Ask NYPL, began in 1967. We started answering questions over the telephone, but people have been reaching out to librarians for as long as there have been libraries.
The New York Public Library has actually saved records of some of the more interesting questions they've been asked over the years. Like, is there a full moon every night in Acapulco? Why do 18th century English paintings have so many squirrels in them, and how do they tame them so they wouldn't bite the painter? Are Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates one and the same person? In a world of Google, it's a bit surprising to know that they get around 30,000 calls per year. My question is, why?
Oftentimes people might not have access to the technology at home, and I honestly think some just want somebody to talk to.
So the next time you have a question, like, how many teeth does a great white shark have? You can call this number,
917-275-6975.
That'll ring inside of this building, up on this floor, and maybe Bernard or Rosa will pick up, and they'll answer it for you.
They have about 300 serrated teeth.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the American flag has endured in its many forms as the ultimate symbol of freedom, justice, and the American way. But did you know that our nation's flag was designed by a high school student from Ohio?
According to legend, the original American flag from 1776 was sewn by a lady named Betsy Ross. It had 13 stars in a circle representing America's original 13 states. As more states joined the Union, people kept adding more stars to the flag. So by 1958, the US flag had a total of 48 stars for the 48 states of that time. Which brings us to our high school student, Robert Heft. Robert's history teacher gave his students an open-ended assignment.
Make a project illustrating your interest in American history. It could be anything.
So Robert, who was jazzed about hearing that Alaska and Hawaii were going to become states, cut up an old 48-state flag in his grandparents' basement and designed his own vision for a 50-state flag. When he turned in his final assignment, Robert's teacher said,
"Anyone can make a flag, and it's got the wrong number of stars."
The grade came back a B-. Robert tried to explain his idea to his teacher, who replied,
"I'll change your grade when your flag is accepted by the US Congress."
Game on. Robert wrote 21 letters and called the White House 18 times until one day in 1960, Robert's phone rang.
Hello? Hello, Robert Heft?
It was President Eisenhower with news that Robert's 50-state flag design had actually been chosen as the new official flag of the United States. The president invited Robert to Washington, where he saw his American flag fly for the first time on July 4th, 1960. Since then, Robert's 50-state flag has remained unmatched as the quintessential symbol of America. But I know what you're thinking. Whatever happened to that B-? Robert's teacher honored his promise and changed the grade to an A.
We're all familiar with Coca-Cola, but this is also Coke. It's said that Clear Coke was a top-secret project made exclusively for a thirsty Red Russian.
Oh, so good.
During World War II, Coca-Cola made a global splash, boosting American troops' morale. At one point, Dwight D. Eisenhower met with Georgy Zhukov, a Soviet general instrumental in the defeat of Nazi Germany. Eisenhower introduced him to Coke.
Try this.
Zhukov was hooked. But after the war, Coke was seen as a symbol of American imperialism and was banned from the Soviet Union.
Yeah, nope, not here.
So Zhukov called up none other than US President Harry Truman to send him a secret stash.
I'm going to need Coca-Cola.
Truman agreed to help Zhukov out.
All right, you got it.
He got the top dogs at Coca-Cola to disguise its iconic look. They eliminated the drink's artificial coloring, but made sure the new vodka look-alike still had that classic Coke taste. They packaged it in straight glass bottles, capped with a red star. According to a World War II Coke rep, 50 cases were sent to Russia. Zhukov got his fix. He was never caught with the disguised cola, and as far as we know, it hasn't been sipped since.